Proverbs chapter 15, verse 3, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good. That was our memorization verse from last week, if you remember. Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome back. It is actually Sunday today. I'm not pre-taping because I knew we had a big snowstorm coming and we're not going to be able to get out today. Not even close. I'm the first person to say get to church if you can, but today is a day that it would not be safe for us to leave. So if you are also getting this storm, I hope that you are able to just stay home and not be on the roads and stay safe and just enjoy how pretty it is and not have to try to go anywhere because we're buried. But we're okay. We were ready for it. So hope that's the same for you. On that note, let us go ahead and get started. We are continuing in the Proverbs of chapter 16 through 20-ish. We'll see how far we go. All right, Proverbs chapter 16. Man may make plans in his heart, but what the tongue utters is from the Lord. All the ways of a man may be pure in his own eyes, but it is the Lord who proves the spirit. Entrust your works to the Lord, and your plans will succeed. Oh, I just bumped it and lost my spot. Your plans will succeed. The Lord has made everything for his own ends, even the wicked for the evil day. Every proud man is an abomination to the Lord. I assure you that he will not go unpunished. By kindness and piety, guilt is expiated, and by the fear of the Lord, man avoids evil. When the Lord is pleased with a man's ways, he makes even his enemies be at peace with him. Better a little with virtue than a large income with injustice. In his mind, a man plans his course, but the Lord directs his steps. The king's lips are an oracle. No judgment he pronounces is false. Balance and scales belong to the Lord. All the weights used with them are his concern. Kings have horror of wrongdoing, for by righteousness the throne endures. The king takes delight in honest lips, and the man who speaks what is right he loves. The king's wrath is like messengers of death, but a wise man can pacify it. In the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favor is like a rain cloud in spring. How much better to acquire wisdom than gold? To acquire understanding is more desirable than silver. The path of the upright avoids misfortune. He who pays attention to his way safeguards his life. See if this one sounds familiar to you. Pride goes before disaster, and a haughty spirit before a fall. You'll hear that in pop culture. Pride goeth before the fall, or before a fall. It is better to be humble with the meek than to share plunder with the proud. He who plans a thing will be successful. Happy is he who trusts in the Lord. The wise man is esteemed for his discernment, yet pleasing speech increases his persuasiveness. Good sense is a fountain of life to its possessor, but folly brings chastisement on fools. The mind of the wise man makes him eloquent and augments the persuasiveness of his lips. Pleasing words are a honeycomb, a sweet to the taste and healthful to the body. Sometimes a way seems right to a man, but the ends of it leads to death. The laborer's appetite labors for him, for his mouth urges him on. A scoundrel is a furnace of evil, and on his lips there is a scorching fire. An intriguer sows discord, and a talebearer separates bosom friends. A lawless man allures his neighbor and leads him into a way that is not good. A lawless man allures his neighbor and leads him into a way that is not good. In other words, that's a reminder, don't follow somebody into wrongdoing. He who winks his eye is plotting trickery. He who compresses his lips has mischief ready. Gray hair is a crown of glory. It is gained by virtuous living. A patient man is better than a warrior, and he who rules his temper is better than a warrior, and he who rules his temper than he who takes a city. When the lot is cast into the lap, its decision depends entirely on the Lord. Chapter 17. Better a dry crust with peace than a house full of feasting with strife. An intelligent servant will rule over a worthless son, and will share in the inheritance with his brothers. The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but the tester of hearts is the Lord. The evil man gives heed to wicked lips and listens to falsehood from a mischievous tongue. He who mocks the poor blasphemes his maker. He who is glad at calamity will not go unpunished. Grandchildren are the crown of old men, and the glory of children is their parentage. Fine words are out of place in a fool. Fine words are out of place in a fool. How much more lying words in a noble? A man who has a bribe to offer rates in a magic stone. At every turn it brings him success. He who covers up a misdeed fosters friendship, but he who gossips about it separates friends. A single reprimand does more for a man of intelligence than 100 lashes for a fool. On rebellion alone is the wicked man bent, but a merciless messenger will be sent against him. Face a bear robbed of her cubs, but never a fool in his folly. If a man returns evil for good from his house, evil will not depart. The start of strife is like the opening of a dam, therefore check a quarrel before it begins. He who condones the wicked, he who condemns the just, are both an abomination to the Lord. Of what use in the fool's hand are the means to buy wisdom, since he has no mind for it? He who is a friend is always a friend, and a brother is born for the time of stress. I like that. He who is a friend is always a friend, and a brother is born for the time of stress. You've probably heard of fair weather friends, people who are only there for you and are there around you or with you when things are good, but when something hard happens, they abandon you or leave or don't want to deal with it. Fair weather friends, people that are only there when the weather is good. But he who is a friend, a true friend, is always a friend, and a brother is born for the time of stress. Senseless is the man who gives his hand in pledge, who becomes surety for his neighbor. He who loves strife loves guilt. He who builds his gate high courts disaster. He who is perverse in heart finds no good, and a double-tongued man falls into trouble. To be a fool's parent is grief for a man. The father of a numbskull has no joy. A joyful heart is health of the body, but a depressed spirit dries up the bones. A joyful heart is health for the body, but a depressed spirit dries up the bones. That might come back later in a song. The wicked man accepts a concealed bribe to pervert the course of justice. The man of intelligence fixes his gaze on wisdom, but the eyes of a fool are on the ends of the earth. A foolish son is vexation to his father and bitter sorrow for her who bore him. It is wrongdoing to fine an innocent man, but beyond reason to scourge princes. He who spares his words is truly wise, and he who is chary of speech is a man of intelligence. Even a fool, if he keeps silent, is considered wise. If he closes his lips, intelligent. Chapter 18. In estrangement one seeks pretext. With all persistence he picks a quarrel. The fool takes no delight in understanding, but rather in displaying what he thinks. With wickedness comes contempt, and with disgrace comes scorn. The words from man's mouth are deep waters, but the source of wisdom is a flowing brook. It is not good to be partial to the guilty, and so to reject a rightful claim. The fool's lips lead him to strife, and his mouth provokes a beating. The fool's mouth is his ruin, his lips are a snare to his life. The words of a talebearer are like dainty morsels that sink into one's inmost being. The man who is slack in his work is often brother to the man who is destructive. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The just man runs to it and is safe. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. He fancies it a high wall. Before his downfall, a man's heart is haughty, but humility goes before honors. He who answers before he hears, he is the folly and the shame. A man's spirit sustains him in infirmity, but a broken spirit who can bear? The mind of the intelligent gains knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. A man's gift clears the way for him and gains him access to great men. The man who pleads his case first seems to be in the right. Then his opponent comes and puts him to the test. The lot puts an end to disputes, and is decisive in a controversy between the mighty. A brother is a better defense than a strong city, and a friend is like the bars of a castle. From the fruit of his mouth a man has his fill. From the yield of his lips he sates himself. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Those who make it a friend shall eat its fruit. He who finds a wife finds happiness. It is a favor he receives from the Lord. The poor man implores, but the rich man answers harshly. Some friends bring ruin on us, but a true friend is more loyal than a brother. A lot of talk about friends so far today, and true friends. Chapter 19. Better a poor man who walks in his integrity than he who is crooked in his ways and rich. Without knowledge, evil zeal is not good, and he who acts hastily blunders. A man's own folly upsets his way, but his heart is resentful against the Lord. Wealth adds many friends, but the friend of the poor man deserts him. The false witness will not go unpunished, and he who utters lies will not escape. Many curry favor with the noble, all are friend of the man who has something to give. All the poor man's brothers hate him, how much more do his friends shun him? He who gains knowledge is his own best friend. He who keeps understanding will be successful. The false witness will not go unpunished, and he who utters lies will perish. Luxury is not befitting a fool, much less should a slave rule over princes. It is good sense in a man to be slow to anger, and it is his glory to overlook an offense. Be slow to anger, you hear that. The king's wrath is like the roaring of a lion, but his favor like dew on the grass. The foolish son is ruin to his father, and the nagging of a wife is a persistent leak. Home and possessions are an inheritance from parents, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. Laziness plunges a man into deep sleep, and the sluggard must go hungry. He who keeps the precept keeps his life, but the despair of the word will die. He who has compassion on the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay him for his good deed. Chastise your son, for in this there is hope, but do not desire his death. Chastise your son, correct him. For in this there is hope. This kind of was talked about last week in one of them. He who spares the rod hates his son, or something like that. Chastise your son, your children. Teach them, correct them. That's how they'll learn and become good, God-fearing, productive men and women. But do not fear his death, or don't desire his death. So it's correct him, but know where the line is. Don't overdo it. The man of violent temper pays the penalty. Even if you rescue him, you will have to do it again. Listen to counsel and receive instruction, for you may eventually become wise. Many are the plans of a man's heart, but it is the decision of the Lord that endures. From a man's greed comes his shame. Rather be a poor man than a liar. The fear of the Lord is an aid to life. One eats and sleeps without being visited by misfortune. The sluggard loses his hand in the dish. He will not even lift it to his mouth. If you beat an arrogant man, the simple learn a lesson. If you rebuke an intelligent man, he gains knowledge. He who mistreats his father or drives away his mother is a worthless and disgraceful son. If a son ceases to hear instruction, he wanders from words of knowledge. An unprincipled witness perverts justice, and the mouth of the wicked pours out iniquity. Rods are prepared for the arrogant, and blows for the backs of fools. Chapter 20. Wine is arrogant, strong drink is riotous. None who goes astray for it is wise. The dread of the king is as when a lion roars. He who incurs his anger forfeits his life. It is honorable for a man to shun strife, while every fool starts a quarrel. In seed time the sluggard plows not. When he looks for the harvest, it is not there. The intention in the human heart is like water far below the surface, but the man of intelligence draws it forth. Many are declared to be men of virtue, but who can find one worthy of trust? When a man walks in integrity and justice, happy are his children after him. A king seated on a throne of judgment dispels all evil with a glance. Who can say, I have made my heart clean, I am cleansed of my sin? Varying weights, varying measures are both an abomination to the Lord. Even by his manners the child betrays whether his conduct is innocent and right. The ear that hears and the eye that sees, the Lord has made them both. Love not sleep, lest you be reduced to poverty. Eyes wide open mean abundant food. Bad, bad, says the buyer, but once he has gone away, he boasts. Gotten his way, he boasts. Like gold or a wealth of corals, wise lips are a precious ornament. Take his garment who becomes surety for another, and for strangers gild it up. The bread of deceit is sweet to a man, but afterward his mouth will be filled with gravel. Plans made after advice succeed. So with wise guidance wage your war. A newsmonger reveals secrets, so have nothing to do with a babbler. Don't gossip and don't involve yourself with gossips. We talked about this last week. If one curses his father or mother, his lamp will go out at the coming of darkness. Possessions gained hastily are an outset. At the outset will be, in the end, not be blessed. Say not, I will repay evil. Trust in the Lord, and he will help you. Varying weights are an abomination to the Lord, and false scales are not good. Man's steps are from the Lord. How then can a man understand his way? Rashly to pledge a sacred gift is a trap for a man, or to regret a vow once made. A wise king winnows the wicked and threshes them under the cartwheel. A lamp for the Lord is the breath of man. It searches through all his inmost being. Kindness and piety safeguard the king, and he upholds his throne by justice. The glory of young men is their strength, and the dignity of old men is gray hair. Evil is cleansed away by bloody lashes, and a scourging to the inmost being. And, we'll stop. 21. No, we're going to stop there. Actually, I changed my mind. We're going to go ahead and do chapter 21 because it's a snow day. No one's going anywhere. So Proverbs chapter 21. Like a stream is the king's heart in the hand of the Lord. Wherever it pleases him, he directs it. All the ways of a man may be right in his own eyes, but it is the Lord who proves hearts. To do what is right and just is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. Haughty eyes and a proud heart, the tillage of the wicked is sin. The plans of the diligent are sure of profit, but all rash haste leads certainly to poverty. He who makes a fortune by lying tongue is chasing a bubble over deadly snares. The oppression of the wicked will sweep them away because they refuse to do what is right. The way of the culprit is crooked, but the conduct of the innocent is right. It is better to dwell in a corner of the house top than in a roomy house with a quarrelsome woman. The soul of the wicked man desires evil. His neighbor finds no pity in his eyes. When the arrogant man is punished, the simple are the wiser. When the wise man is instructed, he gains knowledge. The just man appraises the house of the wicked. There is one who brings down the wicked to ruin. He who shuts his ear to the cry of the poor will himself also call and not be heard. A secret gift allays anger, and a concealed present violent wrath. To practice justice is a joy for the just, but terror for evildoers. The man who strays from the way of good sense will abide in the assembly of the shades. He who loves pleasure will suffer want, and he who loves wine and perfume will not be rich. He who loves pleasure will suffer want, and he who loves wine and perfume, expensive things, will not be rich. The wicked man serves as ransom for the just, and the faithless man for the righteous. It is better to dwell in a wilderness than with a quarrelsome and vexatious wife. Be careful who you marry. Precious treasure remains in the house of the wise, but the fool consumes it. He who pursues justice and kindness will find life and honor. The wise man storms the city of the mighty and overthrows the stronghold in which it trusts. He who guards his mouth and his tongue keeps himself from trouble. Arrogant is the name of the man of overbearing pride who acts with a scornful effrontery. The sluggard's propensity slays him, for his hands refuse to work. Some are consumed with avarice all the day, but the just man gives unsparingly. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination, the more so when they offer it with a bad intention. The false witness will perish, but he who listens will finally have his say. The wicked man is brazen-faced, but the upright man pays heed to his ways. There is no wisdom, no understanding, no counsel against the Lord. The horse is equipped for the day of battle, but victory is the Lord's. And that's where we're going to stop. I pulled a few verses that I wanted to just mention again, and then I'm going to put a few in the description as well. It's hard to just read through these and not think about, pray about, and just ruminate on individual verses. There's so much wisdom here, and that's the point. That's what this book is supposed to be. So I'm going to put some in the description box, but Proverbs 16, verse 9, in his mind a man plans his course, but the Lord directs his steps. Chapter 17, verse 17, he who is a friend is always a friend, and a brother is born for the time of stress. I think that'll be our memorization verse. He who is a friend is always a friend, and a brother is born for the time of stress. That's important for everybody. It's true for all stages of life, but in, middle school, high school, that really, really begins to play out. You'll see that, hopefully not, but it's pretty common to experience that at one point or another, and to have that verse in your back pocket when somebody betrays you or talks behind your back or does something at your expense. Remember that a true friend doesn't do that. He who is a friend is always a friend, and a brother is born in the time of stress. Chapter 17, verse 22, a joyful heart is the health of the body, but a depressed spirit dries up the bones. That's one of those Steve Green songs. The translation he uses is a joyful heart is good medicine. Joyful heart is good medicine, but a broken spirit dries up the bones is the version that he sings. I'll link these in the box too. Chapter 17, verse 18, pride goes before disaster, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Pride goeth before a fall. You hear that? Chapter 18, verse 24, some friends bring ruin on us, but a true friend is more loyal than a brother. And again, more about friendship. And chapter 20, verse 11, this is the song, even by his manners the child betrays whether his conduct is innocent and right. So I will link the songs to the Steve Green children's songs. Again, they're made for kids, but they're good for everybody. I'll link those in the box, as well as just put up some verses that I'm thinking about this week. Because there's just so much here. A lot about wives and the wisdom of a husband, and it goes both ways. Something that I strive to be is a wife that doesn't act like a lot of these ones do. And for young men and those I talk to, I pray that they find a wife that is a godly woman and not, I believe nagging was the word used here today. That's not helpful. So, okay, that's where we're going to stop for today. I hope you have a fun snow day and can maybe go outside a little bit. I don't know if there'll be much sled riding happening, not in as much as we're getting, but I hope you're home, warm, safe. I hope everyone's power is still on, and let's go ahead and close with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Amen. All right. Hope you have a great rest of your week. I hope you don't have to go too far until the roads are clear, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.